Welcome everybody to the big show. We have an exciting topic for you today. 5 ways to tell if the tail is wagging the dog. How can you tell if the business is running you or you're running the business? We have a lot of experience in this department and we're going to share how we can instantly tell. All 5 of these, you can instantly tell right away what's going on. Some exciting stuff in the news, and we're going to talk about how Christian almost died and much, much more coming up on this edition of Service Drive Revolution. Let's start this off with a funny story. Kind of knew things were going south, but this happened last Monday. And how I knew they were going south was that I beat you here.
It doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, because I think you come in and work out in the morning.
No, I just come in and work. I do evening workouts.
But you're working like the East Coast or something? Because you're always here, no matter how early I get here. Unless you're out of town, you're here before me.
Yeah, that's true.
I even wondered if you were out of town. I was like, am I wrong? Is he like out of town somewhere? So I'm here. I'm getting set up in my office, and I hear you come in. And
like a bull in a china shop?
We do this weird husband and wife thing because our walls, Christian's office and my temporary office, don't have anything in between up where the wall touches the ceiling. So you could, I'm sure a cat could get through there.
Yeah,
probably.
We're standing next to each other.
Sound can definitely get through, right? So I hear him come in and I'm like, hey, good morning, Christian. And then I hear this, and I go, I jump up out of my seat and I go, are you sick? And he says something, but I don't know, I'm coming down the hall hard and fast. And then I poke my head in your office. I go, are you sick? And you're like, well, kinda, or something. You wouldn't admit you were sick.
I wanted to work.
And I go, get out of here. Go home. You're going to get me sick. Somebody here in the office, not to name any names, Patricia got me sick like the month before. Sick, didn't wear a mask, nothing, just sick around everybody. Like, and I went down for the count. Although my count is a lot shorter than everybody else's because I have a system for this. When I get sick, I was probably down for 2 days, I would say.
But it was the first time I'd ever had you text me and say I'm not coming in because I don't feel good.
You, I don't know if you hesitated or what you did, but you left. I was never in contact with you except for poking my head in, which could have got me sick.
We were quite a ways away from each other.
We were quite a way. And you went home, and then we had our meeting, and you worked all day from home, but you did Zooms, and every meeting that we had, we just did it on Zoom, so you could be in on it. And then, so I said, do the system. Because I told you about the system, you kind of had tried the system, but there's this lady, I think, what is her name? Judy. At this place in Hollywood that does this drip like an IV that no matter how sick you are, it fixes you.
Super crazy.
You sit there for an hour. How long did yours take?
45 minutes. My veins suck that stuff in fast.
Well, my veins are weird, so it usually takes me about an hour and 15. We get there's like a good, better, best. We get the best. And then if I'm really sick, I call my doctor and get some sort of antibiotics.
Yeah, we just don't talk
most
about
doctors say, oh no, you gotta let it go. Antibiotics don't work. Antibiotics work for me. I don't know what they're talking about. I get a Z-Pack, whatever. So when I was given the heebie-jeebies or whatever, I did the drip and I got a Z-Pack and then I was good the next day, which when we were talking about benefits and everything here this year, like our compensation as a company and all that, I wanted everybody to have basic health insurance because like when they get sick, I want them to be able to go and get, like, I don't think it should take a week to get over a cold.
Yeah. Go, right? Come back, and don't get everybody else sick all at the same time.
Yeah. And so that was part of my motivation, amongst other things, but that was part of it. So you go home. You had tested negative for COVID in the morning.
That's right.
And by the afternoon, ding, 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 ding. You won the, what do they call it on The Price is Right when you win the grand prize?
The door prize or the big prize?
The big prize. What is it called? The prize of the day or whatever? So you had COVID.
Showcase Showdown.
You won the Showcase Showdown.
I came within $100 without going over.
And so it probably took you 2 days to feel better.
Yeah, so I remember Tuesday, Wednesday were rough, and I really appreciate you checking in on
You got you got the drip on Tuesday?
Yep. And then Tuesday, I felt good right after I left, but I felt like maybe I was too far into it. Like Sunday would have been the day to get the drip to kind of do the Chris Collins system, but I think I was a little too far into it. But Thursday I turned around, and by the following Monday I was ready to work again. I was so excited to come back.
She has like the Chris Collins disclosure form.
Like I swear I was at a bank or a drug deal.
Yeah.
Like literally it's this drawer that nobody else talks about or knows about. Like there's double locks on there and one person can't have both keys. Like it's crazy. And then they pull out this thing and it's the...
Do you remember during the pandemic that I had somebody coming and giving drips in the office?
I did a TikTok video once of you, me, I think Missy and Kosh, just kind of sitting around. I said lunchtime at the office.
The problem is I think she started dating a friend of mine and then they broke up and then she didn't want to come do it anymore because she didn't like my friend, I guess, or something.
But your friend was never in the room. She missed out.
Yeah, because weren't we doing it like bi-weekly?
Yeah, it was every 2 weeks. And they'll do it here too. Judy was telling me about it.
Yeah. So, I just don't know if everybody would participate now because it's not COVID.
We should do a poll. It's freaking good for you.
It's the greatest. I do it every other week.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
Super smart.
Anyway, so Christian was down for the count, but not as long as most people.
Nope, I'm down. I'm back. And I worked through the whole thing. I still did 10-hour days, but... so we were on a call together. Did you notice I had freaking mute every 2 seconds?
No.
So we were on a call with all of our coaches, and I'd start to say something, and then I'd mute and cough, and then I'd come back and I'd talk again. But after that, the coaches kind of took over. It was really nice because we were doing a book report, so they recognized I wasn't going to be talking for long.
That on our coaching call.
Yeah. But it was cool. They did good.
That was an interesting book report in the sense that we did. The book was The Person in the Situation, and everybody, surprisingly to me, the feedback from our coaches was that the book was very dense, which was not my impression with the book at all.
I agree with the coaches on that, but the other thing that not only was it dense, like they went above and beyond with the research that they did and everything like that. So they rose to the challenge and went above it. That was my favorite part, is that like, oh my gosh, this is hard. It's way over my head. And then they just killed it anyway. And they made all these connections and...
there's a book that is dense. There's another level to that, which is genetics and how your genetics play into situations.
Oh, crazy.
So like say somebody is born predisposed to being argumentative or fighting, like would have made a great Roman soldier or whatever, and that person is put in a situation where they are challenged. So your genetics and the situation, there's another level to it, but I think I'll keep the coaches from that since they thought this one was dense.
Let's do that next time.
No, we're gonna do what was the book you liked?
That was...
I gotta read it first, but...
Yeah, it was essentially about how to... mindset. It's a mindset book.
What is it called?
Oh, I have to look it up. It's in my phone.
It must have been really good.
Well, no, so what happened is that I'm actually also trying to turn a new leaf, but I stopped listening to that, which is not what I normally do. And I listened to the Zen of Archery.
Oh, that's like an hour and a half.
It's an hour and a half.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
What did you think?
It reminded me a lot of, it was like listening to Belichick talk about punters. Does that make sense to you? Like it was the in-depth and like how the whole thing has to kind of come together. It was pretty interesting. I actually liked it, and it was such a fast read. So then I went back.
It's called The Expectation Effect. Is the one you wanted us to read.
That's right. So I do.
Looking back at our text, The Expectation Effect.
I see. That's a yellow and red book.
By David Robson. Robson.
So you'd think I'd go back to that book, but no, I got caught up in the new David Goggins book.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm in a rabbit hole.
Remember when we were at that Raiders game and David Goggins was there?
Was he at that? Oh, they showed him on the Jumbotron and everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
So is this book just the same thing? Like,
It's not as dense. It's a little
Goggins?
more.
I never thought Goggins' first book was dense.
I thought you were talking
It was
about the
just
expectation effect.
Pure fire.
Yeah, so this is not near, it's way more sedate. So it opens up. It's actually kind of interesting who does the prequel or prelogue or whatever it is, the forward is what they call it. Bless you. The forward was done by his mom, Joe Rogan, and The Rock. They set it up for him, and then he didn't come in on fire like he did in Can't Hurt Me. So it was actually kind of an interesting thing. And then he's got that on the Audible side of it. He doesn't talk near as much in this one as he did in the last one because he has a guy that kind of sub-read because he was a dual read. The other guy talks more than David does.
So basically, he's doing this second book because he's obligated to from the publisher, but it's not that good.
I wouldn't say it's not that good yet. I'm not that far into it.
But basically,
I see what you're trying to get at.
It's more of an obligation than it is that he had something that the world needed to hear.
Yeah.
Because the first book, he definitely had a lot of pain he wanted to share.
Oh, for sure.
But now he's over all that. So now what has he got? Tips on what?
I mean, he's that crazy 100-mile race runner.
He's not doing that anymore.
I don't think humans
His body's falling apart. Like, it's interesting to me that, a lot of the stuff he says about mindset and that you could do more than you think and all that's true. But he has basically ruined his body.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest running 100-mile. Like, you can do it.
It's great for him to do. Yeah.
Why?
I feel like if you did it once to prove to yourself, I'm in. But to do it multiple times is crazy. He's just trying to push
New Year's
it.
resolution of drinking more. How's that going?
I haven't drank yet, but I know it's coming.
It's we're running out of time. Remember how fast last year went by?
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
We're gonna
we gotta hurry up.
At Christmas. I made another.
We're gonna have a listening party on Monday, and maybe then you could start drinking. What kind of drinks would you like me to have for you?
What's the tone of the music?
It's everything.
Okay, so I would like to have the following laid out. Just because if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, okay? So if we're listening to like Euro trash EDM, I'd like vodka. If we're going to listen to maybe like a little bit of salsa, I'd like some tequila. And then if we're going to listen to country music, Budweiser.
What about rap?
Rap is going to be Henny.
We have no Henny.
Okay.
I don't even know that we have vodka.
I know a Henny guy.
The only reason why I think I have Scotch or whiskey is because people have given it to me, I think.
Yeah.
Probably unopened.
Scotch, I feel like I
feel like some people have given me some really nice bottles of Scotch that are there in the cabinet, but I never.
So Scotch I've had a couple of times. Like it's a bite, but kind of like wine, I really like the stories.
The last fist fight I got into was after drinking Scotch.
I can't even imagine what it takes for you to get into a fist fight.
Right? The Scotch. Blame it on the Scotch.
Okay.
Blame it on the
Yeah, another, as you can kind of tell, another one of my New Year's resolutions was to read more. Because I've read a lot of books.
Listen more is what you mean?
Yeah, but I also turned on the subtitles on my TV.
I hate that. That's funny. Okay, let's get to the news.
So this topic is something I'm not really into, but I think Chris might like it a little bit. Toyota unveils hydrogen-powered pickup and SUV. The 2022 Toyota Hindenburg Tundra. I meant Tundra. So the thing that I want to talk about is that so they put a big 5-liter V8 hydrogen charged thing into a truck, and the quote. Everyone who came to test drive the prototype car would start off somewhat skeptical, but emerge from the car with a big smile on their face at the end. Team member Takeshi Yamada said. Say that 5 times really fast. As I watched this, I started to believe that there's actually enormous potential in the characteristics unique to hydrogen engines instead of simply treating it as a substitute for gasoline. So the people liked it when they drove it. That's pretty interesting because I don't like it, but I've never tried it. So that's probably a failure on my part.
I find it interesting that even when Tesla emerged, BMW and Toyota, for some reason, keep doubling down on hydrogen.
They're all in, for sure.
The downside to hydrogen, to me, is not that they can't make it go. It's that there isn't the infrastructure. People are struggling to charge electric cars. Now you're going to have gas, diesel, hydrogen, and electric.
Yeah. What's crazy out here, like with the Mirai, the Toyota, you buy a Mirai, you get like $10,000 in hydrogen credit. And I think that that's probably because it's a pain in the butt to find it. Bingo. So if it's free, maybe you don't worry about it as much, but you still got to find somewhere. So I don't completely understand.
Well, the thing with the Tesla is you can just hang one of those things on the side of your house.
That's right.
Can you buy a hydrogen making machine? Isn't it pressurized?
I have to assume. To me, it reminds me of
those tanks look like
like propane gas is what it would remind me of. So I don't know. It's interesting. I definitely don't know enough about it to speak intelligently. But moving on, I can speak intelligently about this. So I have a list of the most recalled automakers of 2022.
Oh, the most recalled.
Yeah. So I've got the 9 most.
So right off the top of my head, I think Tesla, because they've had a bunch.
Okay.
But I'm going to guess they're not the top.
They are not the top. Good job. So they are, out of the 9 manufacturers I have listed, they're number 8. They had 20 recalls, 3.7 million vehicles potentially.
They're number 8 for the year?
Yep.
Okay, go through the list. I don't want to guess.
You don't want to guess anymore? I want you to guess number 1. Is that okay? Thank you. BMW, number 9. Tesla, number 8. Hyundai I, number 7. Right behind that, it's buddy Kia.
Hyundai's number 7?
Yeah.
They have a lot of engine. That's weird. I think they'd be higher.
Engine. Yeah, I bet dollar-wise. There was like $1 trillion in warranty claims from Hyundai. Hyundai, Kia, Benz, GM was number 4. FCA, Chrysler was number 3. VW, number 2. And number 1, if you've watched any episodes of SDR in 2022, you know the answer to this. The number 1 recalled manufacturer is?
Ford.
Gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So Ford was the most recalled car. So putting it into perspective, BMW had 19 recalls. Ford had 67 recalls. 8.6 million vehicles affected. Pretty impressive.
For those listening to this, Christian tried to do a Dave Letterman and throw his sheet, and it just came back on him.
It was like throwing a paper airplane that doesn't go anywhere. All right, 2 more chunks of news here. Never thought I would say this sentence before. The newly cool Toyota Prius starts at $28,545. The newly cool Toyota Prius. So in Toyota's defense, I've got a picture of this that Kevin's going to put on, I think they call that an inlay, where it'll be right next to my head right here. I think it looks pretty cool compared to the old Priuses. Now, I was talking about how awesome I thought this car looked, and then Chris might have asked me a question, which then proved how...
Well, everybody's sitting around talking about how great the new Prius is, and then I asked, simple question, not a difficult question.
No, not really.
Certainly a question in the spirit of the conversation. Would you own a Prius? And renowningly, nobody would.
No, I think that Kevin would. But Kosh and I were out big time. So,
it
didn't take me long
I don't
to
understand
think about
all the fanfare.
It looks good.
Uber drivers everywhere are excited.
Yeah, they're going to be pumped. But 2023 Prius coming out, $28,545, including destination.
Sign me up for the Tundra, maybe.
It's got CarPlay, Android Auto. Oh, I think you'd be much happier with a hydrogen car.
I think that they would consider just putting the Uber app into the dashboard.
Pretty funny. I like that. The 2023 Prius Uber edition.
Maybe
That's
people
so
in parts of America don't get that, but here in LA, most Ubers are a Prius.
Yeah. Well, before Ubers, I mean, we're going back a few years, like 2014, 2015. I always joke that I knew I was in LA because all of the taxis were Priuses at that point in time. But now not. But I'm pretty impressed. It's that little thing is going to have a 194 horsepower engine. That's pretty impressive.
Why are you impressed with that?
For a little tiny car like that, compared to what it was, I think it was like 9 or 10 horsepower before, like a lawnmower.
Aren't there motorcycles with 194 horsepower?
Yeah, like a badass Ducati kind of thing. Yeah. All right. And last but not least, I feel like this is a late announcement, but not surprised. Dodge to reveal final last call car on March 20th in Las Vegas for the Challenger and the Charger are going bye-bye. So for those of you scoring at home, Dodge is just killing off the Challenger and the Charger, which I think they killed it off a long time ago because the Challenger and the Charger have looked the same since 2005. It's literally an 18-year run without a redesign. The longest I ever remember seeing. It's pretty impressive, but they're getting rid of...
Doesn't the Charger have 4 doors?
Charger's 4 doors, Challenger's 2.
Yeah, so that's the difference.
No, but those 2 cars have looked the same for 20 years.
When we used to want a Charger when we were kids, because of what show?
Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, that was a 2-door.
Twas. Oh, and the Challenger was a totally different car. It was a little longer.
The Charger's been more like a mom car, really.
Yeah, it's a 4-door grocery getter with a...
Here's the thing, Christian. I know you're upset about this, even though you're not buying a Challenger or a Charger, but you're upset about it a little bit. You know that the Charger and the Challenger went away before.
Yeah, it's
kind of like Elton John retiring.
They'll be back for
the Rolling Stones or...
Oh, that's funny.
Motley Crue. It doesn't mean they can't come back.
They might. Oh, no, they're going to do an electric version. Like the Corvette. Like 2025, I think they're coming out with that.
Do you ever think about buying that Corvette before it's gone?
Yes.
Don't you want to have a combustion engine in your garage?
Yes.
Me too. There's something about it.
It's in the back
The
of
only
my
problem is
wagon.
I'm too big for that Corvette.
Did you sit in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not super comfortable for me.
I think they do not make sports cars for people over 6 feet tall.
I'm what people in the South would say a big boy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the 5 ways to tell if the tail is wagging the dog?
I do.
How can you tell if the monkeys have the keys to the zoo?
Nice. That reminded me of
What happens when the monkeys have the key to the zoo?
Chaos.
Chaos.
It's total chaos.
Complete chaos.
Yeah. There's another thing you say about monkeys. It's kind of funny, but we can't say it.
What's that?
Monkeys and footballs.
Oh, yeah. Well, just because we can't swear. But 5 ways to tell if the tail is wagging the dog. So my first one, and these are not in any order of importance, but my first one is whenever I go into a parts or service department, sit in the manager's office, and I watch how often the phone rings and how many people come in and lob stuff that they should be doing. And what's always interesting is the manager never stops and thinks, why am I doing this?
They just catch it.
Why are you getting a paycheck and I'm doing your job? Example, hey boss, I got this customer.
And that's all they say. They don't even give you the backstory.
I got this customer, he was in.
This guy wants to talk to you.
Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Whatever it is. Your job is to handle customers. Why would I mean, me being the manager, I should be able to sit here all day and talk on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever.
Sudoku.
Yeah.
Sudoku.
Wordle.
Wordle's the new thing now? Is that like Scrabble?
I've never tried it. I just see that people are excited about it.
Yeah. So I had that same one, but I called it taking shrapnel.
Yeah.
What else you got on your list?
The next one is then what you do is you say, hey, tomorrow morning, let's have a little meeting with everybody 20 minutes before we open. Let's have like a little get together. And then watch how many people are late.
So...
Or just watch how many people are late.
even without the meeting, you'll see it either way, right? So I call that one in, late, out early.
Yeah.
So literally, I was kind of joking is that it starts that, let's say we open at 8, it starts, they get there at 8, then they get there at 8:05, then 8:10, and then at 8:15 they get in, and then they just go right to the parts counter and hang out with the parts guys for a while, and then we're there. And then on the advisor side, on the service drive, the customers and the advisors walk in arm because they're getting there at exactly the same time. The only problem is the customer's way more awake when the advisor is. That's in, late, out early, and they always have a thing that they have to go to at the end of the day. Like the dentist appointment, they can only happen at 2:00 on a Thursday, when maybe someone has a Wednesday off, but they couldn't possibly go to the dentist on Wednesday when they're off. That stuff happens when the tail is wagging the dog. Or what is it? Monkeys have keys.
The zoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Next one I have is most of the day is spent in reactionary mode. You're reacting to upset customers. You're reacting to things instead of being proactive. You're not planning anything for the future because you're too busy. There's that old analogy. You came in, you grabbed the cat by the tail, it drug you around all day, and then you let go at the end of the day and you have no idea if you won or lost.
Yeah. Oh, it was kind of funny. So I was going to say that that it's fight or flight, but I was talking to this with Judy whilst I was getting my IV. She's like, well, there's more than just fight or flight. I'm like, what? What do you mean? There's fight, flight, or freeze. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens is that the managers get to a point where they just freeze and they don't do anything. So, yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
The next one is most of the conversation. So if you go sit in the lunchroom or you go hang out in a huddle or just pay attention to the conversations going on, most of them are about either the people working there, the news, the drama, who's sleeping with who, and very few conversations or narratives or stories are about making the customer experience or the business better.
That's right.
What you talk about and think about all day is who you are.
Yeah, I call that so when I did my list, I called that the coffee clutch mob.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we came up with a lot of the same things, just worded differently. This is fun.
The next one is they're held hostage by bad employees. So the good employees have all left. The bad ones are still there. This happens a lot in the shop where you've lost a couple good techs. You're down to the bad techs. The bad techs have a bad attitude, don't want to work on this, don't want to do that. And that becomes your new reality. And you never once go, hey, I got to work really hard at getting some new ones.
Yes.
And then you start saying stuff like, I can't hire techs.
Oh, so the lesson to that is burn it down, I think. Even if you're short, you clean it and then it forces you into it. Maybe that doesn't work for everybody, it works for me. But if the bad apple's there, you gotta cut the cancer off. It's
like it.
Gangrene.
Burn it down.
I called that turnover and not the good kind. So same exact thing.
And then the last one I have on my list is the profitability is not there, which also is an indicator of most of the conversations are about who's sleeping with who and not about how to make the business better.
Yeah.
There's no clear narrative to what's going on, and we're either losing money or we're not growing year over year in profit.
That's right. We're either stagnant, at best stagnant, but my number one was losing money. Because the monkeys don't know how to strategically run a profitable business. It's really good. I was going to tell you too, so last night, so I'm driving home. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Los Angeles, but there's a little bit of traffic here. I live like 8 minutes from home, so I don't complain about it very much. I come up on this huge clog. I don't know if there was an accident up a couple of spots ahead, but I get kind of stuck in traffic for a while, right? And then all of a sudden, I look to my left, and there's this truck, and then it just tips over. It's crazy, but it was full of Vicks Vapor Rub, and there was no congestion for 8 hours.
On that note, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in, and we can't wait to see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.